So over the years, there are a few things that I find myself doing over and over, like on every single project. And I call it hashtag my Jasmine Roth style. So, I mean, people really do notice when I do the same thing over and over. And sometimes they're even the ones that bring it to my attention. They're like, by the way, you do that on every house. I'm like, really? One of the ways that I keep my designs really cohesive is keeping the number of colors I use to a minimum. I might use like 4 colors in the entire house, inside and outside. We can only process so much. So as you pull up to the house and you see the garage door and you see the house color and you see the front door, you're kind of accepting these colors. So in this instance, I painted the garage doors this really beautiful dark red color. And then inside in the kitchen, in the windowsill, I put clay pots that were painted that same color. That way it carries that color all the way through the design. I think the staple colors that I like to use would be a light gray, a really good white, something that's darker, whether it's dark brown, dark gray, and then some pop of color. Maybe a navy blue or a red or something like that. I'll use it in interesting ways throughout the entire design.
Look at the fireplace, that's cool. That's gorgeous.
It's perfect.
I love this color.
This is the same color as the entry, so it all ties together. I love when houses have fireplaces because I see it as an opportunity to make a really beautiful focal wall. I mean, even just painting the brick is always a great step, but you can take it one step further. I mean, you can add tile, you can add wallpaper, you can use a vintage mantle to really set the space off. I mean, I was trying to pick out a tile that's almost like a subtle nod to the beach, right? I didn't want to go like totally kitsch and have like surfboards and seashells, but this is kind of like, you know, it's like a fish scale or like a mermaid tail or something. So I want this to be a focal point of the room, something they're like super proud of. They come in, they're like, oh, I love that fireplace, like every single day. Maybe it's easier to add stucco on the entire fireplace.
It's even, it's like symmetrical.
The firewood holder is so cool.
Once the dust has cleared and the construction is done, it's time to add back all the furniture and the finishes and everything that's soft and cozy to make a space really feel truly done. Cut the clutter. Don't use anything that's smaller than your head when you're dressing shelves or even putting things on your coffee table. If you must, nothing smaller than your hand. The more tiny little things you have around your house, the more cluttered it feels. If you need to use little things or you want to display small things, display them in groups of 3 with a bigger thing to anchor them. Another good thing to keep in mind when finishing a space is to have various sizes of pattern and texture. You don't want everything to be super little tiny prints because it's gonna feel really, really busy. But if you have everything that's just solid colors, it's gonna feel really boring. So having various colors and textures in a space make it feel really finished and really welcoming.
Not bad.
The way that I like to do that is layering rugs. The simplest way to do it is just put one right on top of the other. You can offset them, you can kind of layer them so they create a pathway. It's really just what makes you happy. When picking pillows for a couch, it's really nice to have different sizes and different textures. Maybe there's one that feels like a sweater or something that's woven. Maybe there's one that feels a little bit more like cool and very simple. It's usually nice to have a smaller pillow in the front, a medium pillow behind it, and a nice big pillow to anchor the whole couch. You don't want the pillows to be so much that you can't sit on the couch, but if you have to move 1 or 2, that's fine. Plants are so important in design. If you have a beautiful room with no plants, chances are it doesn't feel finished. My rule, add green to every single space. Too much? So one of the important ways to add plants into your space is to really think about the size of the plant compared to your space. So you don't want to have like a teeny little cottage that's full of like these giant palm trees. So it really makes sense to make sure that the scale of your plants fit the size of the space. So the way that I like to really make sure that my design is finished is to think of the room in vignettes. Meaning, if I stand in the middle of the room and I look around and think how a photographer might take pictures of the space, that's a really good way to like double check your design. Fireplace would always be a vignette. So if you take a picture of the fireplace, does it have enough going on that it feels really finished? I would argue it needs a plant, a family photo, something with some color, something with some texture. And yeah, if you could take a picture of that fireplace and post it on your social media and be really proud of it, that means it's probably done. One of the ways that I really love finishing a space and making it feel like so personal is to add family photos.
I had a bunch of the homeowners' family photos printed onto wood. Ah, it's so cute! I'm gonna cover the holes with this art so it just looks like this awesome gallery wall. If my calculations are correct, this art is going to close and hide a secret compartment. That's so cool!
They don't have to be anything that are like taken necessarily by a professional photographer. All the things that you can capture in a photograph are a great way to make a space feel done, completed, and somewhere you really want to hang out.
So I've got these 2 boards. I'm gonna sand them a little bit, I'm gonna stain them, and then I have these magnetic strips that I'm gonna attach so that we can take these photos and put them on the boards, and then when it hangs on the wall, it looks just like that.